I lived in the US. I lived in Boston. I lived in Tennessee. USA not even has proper health care. Oh, no, it does. It's just privatized. It's just extremely expensive. And here is where I'm going to partially agree with you. The issue with US healthcare is not the access to healthcare, it's the extremely unhealthy culture that exists in the United States. The United States as a whole has a series of extremely unhealthy cultures, except in like fucking Kentucky and West Virginia. Like those are the only ones where you actually see healthy people. Like those kinds of like extremely rural, super self-sufficient cultures, and even then they get pretty fucking unhealthy. The issue in the United States is not access to healthcare. The issue in the United States is that their culture is so unbelievably unhealthy no matter what that you would flood the hospitals. The US has the highest rate of people with preconditions and chronic illnesses in the entire world. This is not something that is done entirely because just people can't access the hospital. This is done because of an entire cultural issue from the bottom to the top that results in systemic, what do we call this, blind spots? No, failures that result in all of these things. Managed to listen to the Roach Emperor theme and then started talking about politics, and it's gone so long that next time I forget everything. Theme? Cinema? Probably. Yes. So yeah, the main issue is healthcare in the US is too expensive in the hand of private companies. No, it's not. No, it's not. The issue is that people are too unhealthy. The main issue is that people are eating poison in the United States. The main issue is that people in the United States are fucking fat and obese, and they are constantly getting themselves into positions where they result with chronic illness. America bad? I like the United States. I like a lot of the things that they do. They are extremely flawed. You know why the insurance has a part of the fault? This one was a combination of the insanely badly made Obamacare that ended up being the worst of all worlds. Like, one of the worst things that Obama did was Obamacare. Like, hands down. Because what Obamacare wanted was that everybody would get insurance. And all they did was make it illegal to not have insurance. So all the other payers, all the other insurance companies that were having good prices, they just dipped out. Because everybody's premiums just started going up as a result. Because you were subsidizing people. Because the self-correcting measures of people outside of insurance not being covered with chronic illness was having that. Now, I do agree. The United States needs a baseline level of healthcare. The problem is the culture does not allow it. The culture is way too unhealthy. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It becomes a vicious cycle. People can't access healthcare because they are unhealthy. People are unhealthy because they're eating poison. They're eating poison because they get unhealthy. They get unhealthy. They can't access because they can't access. Then it just keeps getting further and further and further and further and further. This issue is not solved by giving people access to healthcare. This issue gets solved by healing the culture, making a culture healthier, making people start moving a little bit more, eating a little bit less, eating less garbage, and taking better care of themselves. Do you know why European countries are capable of having healthcare publicly available to most people, even in Hungary, even in Serbia? Because the cultures are healthy. Because people are healthy. The amount of obese people you have in these countries is minimal. The amount of people with chronic illness here is minimal. People don't eat poison. People don't stay in. People exercise here. People are more active. People have healthier lifestyles. People have healthier balances. So yeah, it's not a single issue. It's a series of things. And this is something that the government can only do so much about. This is an issue that has to be solved at a cultural level. That has been my point forever. Breakfast, coffee, and a cigarette? Fucking French, dude. Government doesn't care about people being unhealthy because they don't pay for the population's healthcare, and then, it becomes a vicious cycle. Again, it becomes a vicious cycle. There are things that the government cannot fix, and one of them is culture. The government will not fix your culture. The government is a reflection of the culture that exists. That's the French. What did you do? You eat cigarettes for breakfast! How can we possibly change the culture, though? That is the trickiest thing. That is the trickiest thing you can possibly do. in my opinion, because there's no good solution for this. If there was a universal solution, it would be applied. My opinion, there's two main ways. Number one, you bring back religious community. You bring back religious community because religion is one of the very, very few ways in which you can get a centralized power to dictate culture. Problem is, it's very restrictive. It's extremely restrictive, and if it gets corrupted, oh boy, are you done. Number two, you as an individual take responsibility for yourself and for those immediately around you. You stop caring about the abstract people at the other side of the world, and you start focusing on you being the best version that you can possibly be of yourself, encouraging and helping those immediately around you to be the best possible versions that they can be of themselves, the healthiest you can be, the healthiest community you can make, as generous as you can be, helping everybody flourish and thrive and become as productive and as culturally, productive and culturally nourishing as possible. Jesus Christ, it took me way too long. The culture we get gets pushed by the rich. So you see the bigger problem in the US is not the aliens. No, the problem is that cultures like Latin American culture, Middle Eastern culture, Sub-Saharan African culture, and to an extent like North African culture, these are not compatible. And I tell you, because I lived in Guatemala, and Guatemalan culture is shit. You mean become Iran? God, no. God, no. I mean, pre-1970s Iran, yes. Pre-1970s Iran, absolutely. Post-revolution Iran, no. Post-Islamic revolution, no. But yeah, no. It's, I said, love it, have a good one. Yeah, you don't even smoke, then why do you eat cigarettes for breakfast? Some of the most peaceful countries are multicultural because they assimilate. Because the people assimilate. That's why. Because people assimilate to the overall culture, and then you have the rest of the cultures that come in, contribute alongside of it, but they all assimilate to the overall central homogenized culture. Otherwise, you get parallel societies. And if you get parallel societies that short notice, eventually you're going to run into incompatible societies. USA was basically created by aliens. It was created by settlers in a very different time, back when colonization and settling was actually acceptable. Important word, homogeneous. Yes. You mean the Shah, the dictatorship? Look at picture. Do you believe me if I tell you this is from Iran in the 1970s? Let's bring 2010 Iran. Let's see some images from Iran in the 2010s. Lots of protests. Right, in the 2010s they have a bunch of revolutions where they tried to kick out the Islamic terrorist regime, and a bunch of people got killed as a result in the 2010s. Yeah, no, Iran, and here's the thing, right? Dictatorships are necessary in some countries. You know in which country it's necessary? Guatemala. Guatemala needs a dictatorship. Guatemala hasn't had a dictatorship in a very long time. And you know what happens? One of the poorest countries in the world, one of the most violent countries in the world, one of the worst possible cultures in the entire world that you will ever see in your life. Like, okay. There is a big difference, and yeah, I guess we're gonna do one more LFA today, and then we're gonna have to leave it at that. Iran overthrew the Shah because he was a fascist, and the Islamists used it as a chance to get in power. And here we go again. That was the communists. The communists wanted the communist revolution. The Islamic because fascism is the merger of public and private. Fascism is the merger of public and private used through authoritarian means. I think that was the definition given by Mussolini. And we have the Shah, who had his dictatorship, 100%, because these countries need it. But under his dictatorship, Iran had, it was described as the California of the Middle East. It was a free enough nation. The women weren't killed for not wearing the hijab. There were no honor killings. There was a strict military rule, 100%. Just like there was in Guatemala, just like there is in El Salvador right now, just like there was through most of Latin America, because these countries, the culture does not allow for free parliamentary representative democracies the way civilized nations do. Yes, I am calling Guatemala uncivilized because it's uncivilized as fuck. Why? Because I lived there. I grew up there. I got to see the corruption seeping in so many ways from my classmates, from my, not so much my teachers. I did grow up in a very unique environment, but from my dad's side, from my family side, I got to see the corruption firsthand and how the culture corrupts people in Guatemala. You need dictatorships in some of these places, and they need to be brutal. So, Guatemala, by the way, didn't a socialist democracy just get overthrown via CIA coup? It was the funniest shit ever. No, the CIA, they didn't overthrow a socialist. The CIA was so panicked about Guatemala allowing socialists again that they ended up going to the militia. Like, there were some separatist groups that wanted a revolution. The CIA went to them not knowing who they were. They armed them and they caused a coup. Turns out they ended up overthrowing the right-wing government of Guatemala with a socialist revolution that resulted in the civil war, that resulted in the genocide. Because the CIA did not do their due diligence, they panicked. Oh my god, torts. Thank you for the 40 fucking euro. And can you change my brand to Stardust, Speedway, Sonic City? Alright, cool. Let me go ahead and do that. So that's 46 more. Where the fuck is torts? Alright, here we go. So, yeah, no, like, I can shit talk Guatemala. Look, Guatemala is such a bad country that I unironically believe that it does not deserve to be sovereign and independent. It needs to be taken over by another country. That's how bad it has governed itself this whole time. 4640. All right, that's 77. Holy shit. 7720. So yeah, no, Sonic CD. I feel like religion necessarily amplifies social hierarchies, which would be good in some countries, but not in a multi-ethnic, multicultural society like the United States. 100%. This is why when I gave you like the two sides of the coin here, the United States is extremely... I'm so confused. Are you Guatemalan, American, Hungarian, or Mongolian? I am specific. I was born and raised in Guatemala. I lived in the United States during my college years. I live in Hungary right now because I married a Hungarian. I'm now divorced. And I am somebody that learned how to do Mongolian throat singing. The way I look, entirely by coincidence. But you being in Hungary right now, by the way, what do you think of Fidesz? I like many of their policies. I despise the corruption. They have a lot of really, really good ideas to grow a conservative country. But my God, are they corrupt. Like, these guys are second world corruption through and through. There's 3 types of corruption. 4, maybe. 3. There's first world corruption, second world corruption, and third world corruption. And by God, are they starting to border into third world corruption. Columbus Company LFA to spite the person who told you to stop. No, we will do it, but... Yeah, the shadows suppress everyone. That's why people rebel and how the minority extremists would get into power. No, they convinced the people. I mean, I guess you would have to... maybe, probably. But now we are seeing that the Iranian people very much regretted it. So yeah, what I would say is, should Guatemala join Mexico? Probably. If Mexico didn't have the same issues, probably. Splooey, thank you for the 500 bits. Appreciate it. For the VS Talks haul, I lurk it. Do you have a bribe? You do not, but I'm gonna put it over here. $5 by Splooey. Thank you. Appreciate your support. So yeah, why would Mexico need Guatemala? That is precisely the issue. I mean, Guatemala has a really good ecosystem. The country of the eternal spring. You can grow food year round. You don't have to worry about winter. You don't have to worry about many, many things over there. You really can grow just food endlessly. You get an infinite food glitch over there. The problem is the corruption. So yeah, no, when it comes to fetus, there is a party right now called TISA, which has, funnily enough, Peter Magyar as the head of the party, and Magyar translates to Hungarian. So Pete Hungarian is running as the leader of the TISA party, and basically the whole thing is we're gonna take the good things that Fetus is doing, keep those. We're gonna take the bad things that Fetus is doing, and we're going to throw them away. Orban is panicked at the idea of TISA winning. He has tried to claim he is a Ukrainian asset, a Russian asset, a European Union asset, a KGB asset, what was another one that he used? An Israeli asset, a Hamas asset, an Iranian asset, a Chinese asset, and there was one more. He had one more. Oh no, you're a UN asset. Problem is, Peter Magyar was part of Fidesz up until last year, or 2024, because now 2026. So none of it flies because Peter Magyar was one of his officials, and when Peter Magyar was trying to tell, hey, can we stop with the corruption? He got thrown out. He got, like, basically not thrown out, but you know how companies, they won't fire you. They will just make everything so unbelievably unbearable that you just quit. Yeah, they did that to him. Quiet firing. So yeah, no, I, like myself, Dunkel, and a lot of people, like most of the people I know right now, they want TISA. They want TISA. They don't want Fidesz anymore. Fidesz had their time. They were a good band-aid when the socialists ran away with all the money, but now they're done. There's kind of people love to lie and make up enemies. I mean, that's just politics, yeah. That's just politics, yeah. Yeah. We once were, fuck you. Fuck you. Hey, blame Mr. Chaos over there, okay? Oh shit, your name is actually Mr. Chaos. I wasn't even reading, dude. I can't read. Oh my god. Oh fuck. No politics, not make up alien as the reason for issue, just saying. Oh god. Oh. No. But if you understand basic economics, you can see how unmitigated, unregulated illegal immigration will eventually ruin everything. In every level. Oh my god. Purge the heretic, cleanse the it was what? Burn the heretic. Purge the alien, cleanse the unclean, I think. Oh my god, I turned into a tomato. I blush very easily. Gotta head out. Dinner orders. 2 more questions before. What's your opinion on trans people? And you discuss politics on Discord. We do have the yelling contests channel on Discord. And my opinion on trans people, I am indifferent in general. I disagree with the transitioning being the treatment to gender dysphoria. I consider it to be a barbaric, backwards practice. It is, to me, a very worrying thing that the treatment for the only disorder in the DSM-5 that the treatment is to further indulge the disorder. I consider that to be unacceptable. I don't know what the solution is. But I don't like that they're doing that. I consider gender dysphoria to be one of the most horrifying disorders that you can have, like gender dysmorphia, like dysmorphia in general. How else would you treat gender dysphoria? Not by indulging the disorder further. That is one of the most basic things that psychology requires. I have clinical depression. I'm medicated and everything. But If the treatment for the disorder, if any other treatment for any other mental disorder out there was to further indulge the disorder, you know what would happen to the medical establishment that does that? They would all be charged with crimes against humanity, because all of these people would be driven to suicide or to horrible deaths. Why is gender dysphoria treated differently? How do you meditate depression? Like in my case, it's physical. Like it's just my body produces but doesn't secrete the good chemicals naturally. So I have medication that I take that helps. Like the water is there, it just doesn't turn the valve. It just doesn't turn the valve. Yeah, like what I'm saying is right now, the treatment that exists right now, I don't think is the optimal. I don't think it's the optimal treatment. I don't think you chopping off body parts and cosplaying as the opposite sex and forcing people around you to acknowledge a reality that is simply not there. I don't think that's the way. I think that's cruel, because when you start getting these treatments, you know what you become? A client for life for Big Pharma, because then you are a medication for the rest of your life. Depressed by default? Yeah. Yeah. Ibs wants you socially transition, though. The problem is the studies that we're seeing have survivorship bias. And, like, one of the things that I had to go through before my depression ended up being just a physical thing was the idea of I have to accept who I am. I have to accept the result of my body and my choices and everything that has happened to me, good and bad. I have to accept it. If my therapist had told me at the very beginning to indulge further on the disorder, my therapist would be in jail for homicide, because I would have just hung myself like I wanted to. The DSM-5, same overall, you are not in the wrong body is not just a small problem for your life. Precisely. And it's a horrifying thing. I don't think the treatments we have right now, like I see this as using mercury to try and treat mercury and asbestos and lead to treat as medicine as it used to be. At the time, it was believed to be the best things that you could do. Now we know that was not the way. That's how I see it. We want to forbid people from doing something that makes them happy, because it's not about being happy. It's about being healthy. People who have gender dysphoria will have use mercury as a remedy for mercury poisoning. I mean, it ends the life, so there's the poisoning there. By not doing that, you're doing something exceptional. Commands respect. I mean, I'm not. It's totally healthy. Gender dysphoria is not a healthy thing. It's a disorder. And you chopping off healthy body parts to try to accommodate and indulge the disorder further, I consider to be a crime against humanity. You don't indulge the disorder further, because gender dysphoria is a form of body dysmorphia, which means this is along the lines of anorexia and bulimia and all of these. If an anorexic person, because these are body image issues, where the chemistry in the brain don't match the chemistry in the body. Anorexia is along those same lines. If an anorexic person went to a doctor and the doctor said, "Oh yeah, no, you should stop eating. We're gonna make it so that you don't have to eat again," that person's gonna starve. They're gonna die, or at the very least, is gonna end up with grave injury. Not indulging gender dysphoria treatment, as we use the term clinically, it's a coping mechanism. No, it's not. A coping, and the thing is, therapy and treatments are for you to not have the coping mechanisms. For you to be able to overcome without coping mechanisms. Because coping mechanisms are very often just the body and the mind responding how they can to cope with the situation. And therapy and psychiatry and all of these are a way to take you away from that and bring you into a healthy life where you either are in a minimal treatment or you don't need it at all. Yeah. It's written like that. Medical personnel generally really try to find any reason to delay or reject hormones. And I agree with that, because we know that those are not ideal. These are not the ideal solutions. I believe eventually we are going to find mental health for mental problems, yes. Remember when I saw this? The body and mind never know what it needs, only what it lacks. Holy fuck, that's good. Holy fuck, that's good. Ooh, I like that. I like that. That is very true. That is very true. Like, regardless of this conversation, that's really good. The body and the mind don't know what they need, only what they lack. Transition is proven to help people, and it solves a problem. Literally, it's the cure for this people. It's not. Cure means that you no longer have it. You no longer having gender dysphoria would mean that your body has adjusted to the chemistry. That's not what happens with gender transitioning. Gender transitioners, people who transition, are very often still on medications and surgery after surgery after surgery after surgery. This is probably going to be the last LFA, yeah. Then ask a doctor, and this is where the crux of my opinion comes from. I disagree with the medical establishment. Just like I disagree now in hindsight of the use of mercury, of the use of lead, and the use of all of these other methods that did not work historically. Now we understand that. And this is where I think I am. I don't have... I like, look, if you're an adult, do your thing. You go ahead and do it. Go ahead and transition. I'm not going to stop you. I disagree with it. So you disagree with the experts? Yes. Yes, I'm allowed to disagree with the experts in this kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, because these types of experts, you mean the same experts that told us that that the COVID vaccine was 100% going to work, you know, the Moderna, Pfizer COVID vaccine, that they were going to 100% work? Oh no, it's 98%. It's 95%. It's 80%. It's 50%. You actually need 3 boosters in order for it to work. Because they were wrong. And I believe in this case, they are wrong. Yeah, the experts will often differ. Yeah, COVID ruined it all for them. I think COVID was the worst thing to happen to the medical establishment, yeah. You just became my favorite streamer just now. That says more about the rest than it does about me. Welcome to today. How you doing? Oh, boy. And even if it's not wrong, we lack information because humans, we don't know things. Like, we try to figure things out as we go. And as I said, the point, the successful results on the people it saved. This right here. This right here. Treatments don't have to eliminate things completely. I agree. I'm getting treated for my depression. I have my treatment. I take pills in the morning. I take pills at night. And there's no cure. I am never going to be cured. I am going to die with it or of it. But right now, the medication I have mitigates it so that I can function like a regular human being afterwards. Now, the thing is, these medicines that I take are to suppress the disorder away, not to indulge it. That's where I disagree with the medical establishment when it comes to the whole trans issue. Because the approach being taken right now for the trans issue is that you must indulge the disorder further. You must say, yes, you are a different gender. Yes, you are in the wrong body. Let's adjust everything else so that it adapts to you. What did my treatment do? First, it was the acceptance of everything, like coming to terms on who I am, what I am, what I've become. Then it was the medication saying, no, the depression is not supposed to be here. The depression is being caused by this valve not opening, so we're going to open it so that the depression doesn't make a comeback. Suppressing the disorder and suppressing the illness is how you treat illness. And this is not like a viral thing, right? Like, this is not a viral thing that like a virus thing that, oh, you have it, then you get rid of it, and then you develop resistance to it. That's not how these work, right? So this feels uncomfortably close to advocating for conversion therapy. As I said, I don't want that either. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what the solution is. I have no idea what the solution is. I don't think this is it. I'm not going to get into medicine just for that. That self-murder with people in this country, a transition exists. This is proven. This is not survivorship bias. The number of suicidal trans people goes down every year. Not because more people are getting treated, because about the same number of people are getting treated. It's because the people that were getting polled are already killed themselves. And I consider that to be one of the greatest tragedies. Like, almost, I would say I would put it almost on par with abortion. I consider it to be absolute tragedies. Each case is an absolute tragedy. Because my conspiracy theory is that the whole transgender thing is just a big plot by Big Pharma to get customers for life. Because you start transitioning, how many years of medication that you have to get to Big Pharma do you have to do? And surgeries that you have to go to the hospitals and hope that your insurance covers it. It really isn't. That's why I said it's a conspiracy theory. I have no proof for it. That's what a conspiracy theory is. I have no proof. I have no sources for this. It's just what I think. That's just like the scenario I've cooked up in my head. Believing something isn't right does not mean you know what the correct answer is. That's why we still have capitalism as the leading sociology in the world. Yes. Yes. It's a very real thing. Have the Gen Z, at least in America, has been aborted. I think the number I saw was 1/3. But yeah, I see that as absolutely tragic. And I see this among the same thing. I don't think any of this is done with malintent or malice. This is all done with people doing what they believe is the best solution. I disagree with that. I disagree with what I see to be the best solution. It's not right, but we don't know anything better yet. We haven't figured it out. And the problem is that right now, with the whole gender transition thing, it's been treated as settled science, as this is the solution, and you're not allowed to question it, and you're not allowed to try and come up with anything else. That is the problem I have. Because as of right now, it's not good. I don't think it's good. I disagree with it, but we don't have anything better. So yeah, at this point, I don't like it. I don't have to like it. I disagree with it. But if that's the solution that they have, that's the solution that they have. It's not me doing it. It's not anybody in my family doing it. You do you. You do you. I disagree with it. Because not doing it leads easily to suicidality, and doing it mitigates it not that much. And again, the more recent studies have gone up, because I believe the people who were highly in suicidality killed themselves. And that is absolutely tragic. It should not have happened. But again, it's a world that we live in. We don't have shoulds, we have is. It mitigates it by a lot. Now it does. Now it does, as far as we know. As far as we know. But the problem I have is this is still very far from being a proper solution. So, back in 30 minutes, I think we're going to have the next LFA. Yeah. The Polish knew the answer from the start. Was like the I hate you. I hate you. God fucking damn it. God fucking damn it. Why'd you have to make this about fucking femboys? Oh my god. And no, it wasn't the Polish, it was the Slovenians. The kurwa. We need to find the femboy locator. That's Dunkel, dude. That's Dunkel. He's not here right now. He's probably sleeping. In his new house, trans people have their feelings are not real. You make them depressed. Yes. And you know one of the things about depression? Because I can tell you about depression. Depression are a bunch of feelings that are not valid. You have to understand Feelings can be 100% not valid and not warranted. You can't control how you feel. You can't control how you react. Because how I felt about myself during therapy, oh boy, I wanted to kill myself. I was going to kill myself. That's how bad I felt about myself. I wanted to kill myself. I had done everything. I was ready to do it. That's how bad I felt about myself. But you know what happened? Turns out depression, that's not valid. That's not real. That's not actually what you're supposed to feel. There's a disorder there getting in your way. So yeah. Limbo's company has a nice depiction of LGBTQ. Good for them. This Friday was peak. God damn it. Bet he can't detect them. Sleepy, welcome. Look, Dunkel can locate a femboy in a 200-kilometer radius, okay? Glad you're here with us. So am I. Like, that's what my song I Live On is all about. That I wanted to kill myself and I fucking didn't. Why? I don't know. Like, I was able to go to therapy and everything, but yeah, no. Some people's feelings are 100% not valid. Empathy is the most weaponized thing right now in social media. Do not fall for the trap of empathy. Go for sympathy instead. Don't put yourself above feelings first. Feelings first is how 2-year-olds think. Is how 4-year-olds grow out of. If you are emotionally driven, you are only going to think in the first order effect. And very rarely more than that. And that is going to lead to a lot of panicked decisions and a lot of rash and reckless decision making. And that is not something that you want as a responsible adult. You want to make sure that even though you feel something, that you still do the right thing and you do what is necessary. That is what being an adult is. And I trust that people will have to eventually face that. Because if you don't, you become emotionally driven and you slowly lose your mind to it. Because you become a slave to that which you can't control. And you can submit to yourself to that. Sympathy enjoyer, that's me. Yeah. Yeah, I can have sympathy for people. And it doesn't change much. Yeah. Is this a stream after show? Apparently! In his comforting dad face, I will have children one day. Can empathetic people not make right, moral, and best decisions too? They can. They can. Absolutely. But if they submit to their empathy alone, they risk sacrificing everything else and compromising their decision-making capabilities. Taikin, welcome today. How you doing? Go ahead. For your Jesus Christ in your past life, like actual Jesus Christ. Aww. I wanted to be Genghis Khan. And no, I wasn't. I am not young enough to be Jesus. I'm not young enough to be Jesus. No. When God created the heavens and the earth and the great garden of Eden, he hired me as the gardener because I just happened to be around. That's simple. You were Jesus Christ Almighty. No, I am nowhere near a good person for that. Real empathy is rare in this world. This is one of our main issues. No, the real issue is that people are focusing too much on the emotional and they fail to focus on the practical. I don't care how you feel. I care about what situation you are in and how it can be made better. I care about how we can improve things. I don't care how it feels for somebody else. Because it must suck for a lot of these. Yeah, okay, fucking somebody's feeling depressed. What about it? No, I want to make sure that I can look at the other person. And the thing is, sometimes people use the terms interchangeably. So in that, People often, as I was saying, it Campy says it, right? Like people interchange these terms. So in my case, sympathy is when you actually imagine yourself in the other person's situation outside of just feelings, and you actually try to figure out a solution for the problem. Regardless of emotion, you try to look at what is the right thing to do and what is the necessary thing to do and what must be done. Like, those are my three main focuses. What must be done, what must be done, what is necessary, and what is the right thing. Those are my three priorities when it comes to figuring out things. Like, those are my three priorities, and I try to not compromise on any of them. These people are depressed because you not accept them as they are. This is why you're claiming them ill is hurting them and make them more likely to get depressed. Then grow up. If you are giving me, a random total stranger that has never spoken to you, will never speak to you, and will never have any direct influence in your life, the power to depress you, you need to grow up. You need to face the inner demons that you have and chase those away. Because that is a deeper issue than just gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria just means I am not in the right body. Growing up as you were depressed, did your doctor tell you just get over it? Yes. The entire 3.5-year process that I had with my psychologist and my psychiatrist, Harvard graduates, by the way. Harvard graduate. I am the luckiest and most blessed man alive. Harvard graduates, postgraduates of Harvard, some of the best in the entire world, and the entire process that took years of grueling and horrible feeling and just going through absolute shit of healing was the idea of getting over it. It was a several-year journey of just get over it. Because at the end of the day, I just got over it. And I mean, we're humans. We don't get over it, we get used to it. And it was one of those things, accepting that you don't get over it, you get used to it. And it was getting used to it and being able to overcome. Because we are human beings. We are the apex species in this entire fucking universe. And one of the things we have is that we overcome by sheer willpower and spite. Oh my god! Magic Cookie, thank you for 250 Romanian Naira. Alright, so, Romanian Lira, sorry, fuck! I always mix up the Lira and the Liu and the fuck! Okay, Magic Cookie, do you already have them? No, you did not. Okay, let me just add yours, over here. 56.98, the Magic Cookie. Gift, I appreciate it. You still get the bribe. See, it's oversimplified. He wouldn't explain it in nook and detail of the process. It was several years. It was several years of going day by day. Like, the way I did it. My therapist was to tackle the problems of the past. My psychiatrist was to tackle the problems of the present. My psychiatrist was there to see, okay, how do we get you back on your feet so that you can go back to school? How do we get you back there? Because this is by now a chemical thing. We have to figure that out. My therapist was there with, okay, let's visit what happened in your 9th birthday when your dad's mistress told you the thing. Let's explore that. This was a grueling process that took several years, and it's a healing process. Okay? So, yeah. Perhaps you're projecting because this worked on you. I have that bias on me. Absolutely. I have that bias on me. 100%, because it took a lot of work to be able to do it. But that's the thing. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. And if you're not willing to put in the work, because that's the thing, it is hellishly difficult. It is hell. You have to make the journey through hell and remake yourself. and completely remake yourself, because childhood shapes your future. And in my case, it was one of those things that my childhood had many aspects that shaped me wrong, so we had to break the mold that I had already made for myself and make a new one, which meant breaking who I was to make who I could become. That was painful as hell. The most painful experiences I've ever had in my life, at least not physical. The most painful physical was when I didn't break, but I had my leg like for 6 months without moving, and then my doctor decided to just yank it. And oh boy, that was the most physically painful thing. I did have to treat that on therapy too, because that traumatized the fuck out of me. And no, healing does not take courage. Healing gives you courage. Healing does not take strength. Healing gives you the strength. You're not supposed to have the muscles to start lifting. You're supposed to build the muscles by lifting. You have to be able to adapt. Pretending to adapt the rest of the world can around you not hurt you is naive and not plain egotistical. Yeah. I agree with the second part. The first part, no. Healing, let's see. You can continue comfortably watching the show. If you have a viewpoint on my identity, I wish you the best. Good luck. And there, go ahead. Go. I am not saying that I do not accept. You do you. I disagree with the process. If you can't handle that, goodbye. We're adults here. We're meant to explore ideas. Trans is no depression, so you can't just get over it. It's something that tortures you your full life. To get transition treatment you need. And again, this goes back to the premise of the issue. I disagree with the premise that the treatment is transition. That's where I disagree with. Now, does the world have to bend over for it to happen? No, people are going to go in transition. Do it. Do it. I don't think it's the best thing for you. I think there's going to be something better. I think we're going to find something better for it. That's what I think. Can also build it, but you need a minimum to start the process. No, you need the willpower. You need willpower to start any of these. You don't need courage. You don't need strength. You need willpower. You need a baseline level of willpower to push through. The willpower of, I want to change this. Willpower is tied to courage. Maybe. Tied to motivation? I would tie it more to motivation than to courage. But it does have the aspect of I am willing to overcome. And I see that you here, like the thing is, you here are giving me arguments that do not disprove mine. You are here regurgitating talking points, and the moment I don't submit to them, you call me a just cause, and you try to bring in optics-based arguments, and you try to just dismiss everything. This is not how you have a conversation. This is not how you have a conversation. We can agree to disagree. And that happens. That's what adults do. That's what adults do. Me not agreeing with you on something does not mean I oppose your existence. Simple as. I disagree with the treatment. I don't think trans people shouldn't exist. They exist. That's not something I'm going to deny. That's not something I'm going to deny. This is not taxes, okay? It's say the courage in the fact that you have to work, which will be painful. That I guess that you have to actually have the courage to push through. You need to have the courage to push through. You need to have the willpower to start pushing. I think that's the way to put it. I'm trying to disprove your points. I'm trying to support. Oh yeah, no, I was not talking about you. I was talking about the other one. Except then doing it helps them. It's better as I feel. Like as I said, the treatment right now, I disagree with the treatment. But if that's what you think is necessary, that's what you think is necessary. That's what you do. If I see a friend of mine who thinks to treat their way out of things is to drink 6 bottles of whiskey a day, yeah, I'm going to disagree with that. I'm going to consider it to be bad for them. I consider this to be bad for them. That's how I see it. It doesn't mean that I want my friend to die. It means that I disagree with what my friend is doing. This is what having an adult conversation looks like. At some points I did get emotional because somebody brought up femboys. And then you got me to think about taxes. Fuck you. If anyone can just correlate it to indulgence, fuck, I didn't even think of that. I just wanted to bring up like the alcoholic I just thought of an alcoholic because that's like the first thing I could think of somebody who believes that what they're doing is the right thing for them, even though it's clearly not. That's how I see it. That's not how it is, but that's how I see it. That's how I see it. Yeah, I didn't even think of that shit. So yeah, X amount of courage. Yeah, you need the willpower to keep doing the thing. You need the courage to start doing the thing and not turn away from it. To open yourself, bear to a stranger, and suffer because of them. That's scary. It's horrifying. It's the most difficult thing I've ever done. It was the most difficult thing I've ever done, and it was worth it. Because now I am healed. I am a healed man, and I've seen how bad it gets. I've seen how bad it get. I did die, but that's a different story. There's no way to have an adult chat through Twitch or YouTube chat. Fuck you, we're doing that right now. But yeah, no, for more in-depth conversation, we do have the Discord. We do have the Discord where, we can all do text chat instead. Rule. Emojis. You have to put emojis so that we can know which kind of expression you have, because there's no tone or timbre over text. What do you think of people saying you getting help with your depression was bad and you should have just solved it on your own? I like how you're trying to... Look, I never said that trans people should solve it on their own. I said I disagree with the treatment. And I think there should be better solutions. I did not say that trans people should therefore go and be by themselves and go to a forest and fucking die. No. Absolutely not. Do not twist my words like that. Do not lie about what I've said. Do not lie in general. I disagree with the treatment. I don't think the treatment is good. It's the best we got right now. I have my opinion on it. I've made my opinion very clear. I think the whole thing is a conspiracy by fucking Big Pharma just to bring big lifetime customers to this. That's what I think. I don't have an alternative. Which means if that's what you gotta do, that's what you gotta do. You go ahead and do it. I don't like it, but I don't have to. My opinion does not matter to you and should not matter to you. My agreement, your life should not depend on my agreement. Your well-being should not depend on my agreement. That's what I'm saying. Because if people were saying like, oh yeah, no, the depression, that's fucking fake, and the medicines are fake, yeah, cool. Yeah, no, that's your opinion. You know why? Because people told me that. Many times. Multiple times. Some of them were out of cruelty. Some of them were at a similar place that I was in. And at the end of the day, it didn't matter. It didn't matter because they were not me. They were not in my situation. And I'm pretty sure that's what we're seeing. The conversation not moving to insults and calling. I'm just making personal. Not moving to insults and calling people and else. And I appreciate it, Aaron. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you don't want it, yep, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Before is better, and I can actually agree with it. Yeah, no, like that's the position that I hold. Like I don't like just because I believe something is bad, it doesn't mean that I want it eradicated and just leave the other people to their devices. I believe there needs to be something better. There needs to be something, because I believe right now it's like which one was the drug that they were giving people to treat hysteria with? Heroin? Cocaine. Heroin. I think it was heroin. Like there was a time when they were given when medics were given cocaine. When medics were giving cocaine to women to treat something. I don't remember what it was, but it was to treat something. And now we understand that, okay, there was a better treatment, which turned out to be, which turned out to be, that turned out to be others. You're allowed to be an opinion people disagree with as long as there is no attacks. And I have no ill intent towards anyone. except the gypsies. But that's because they earned it. Okay, 1980s, Sigmund Freud extensively researched and advocated for the use of cocaine, which was a newly isolated legal substance. He touted it as a miracle drug capable of treating various ailments, including depression, indigestion, and fatigue. I mean, the fatigue part is true enough. While his initial enthusiasm led to a failed personal attempt to treat a friend's addiction, this period is now viewed as critical, albeit flawed phase in his early career that influenced his later psychological theories. Christ almighty, I didn't know it was Freud. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Oh my god. And look, Mr. Chaos, I just have to say, I have a huge bias against you because I'm a 40K fan, and I am a human supremacist against the forces of chaos. So, yeah, I was not expecting it. Solve your drinking problem. No, it wasn't even that. Solve you being tired by doing cocaine. That's what Freud wanted. Solve your tummy ache by doing cocaine. That's what Freud wanted. And this was done. Now that's a pull. That's a pull. Holy shit. And here is the key thing. I don't know if you're going to change my mind. Don't know if you're going to change your mind. I want to explore the idea. That's what I want. Oh my god. Okay, so with that, he tried to use cocaine to heal heroin addiction. This was a medical expert of his time. So I think with this we can see this, right? That people are human and humans are wrong often. And yeah, many times we realize that mistakes are made. And I believe right now, the way that we treat the gender dysphoria thing with the whole transitioning thing, I think that to be wrong. That doesn't mean that I am going to go and campaign for the absolute abolition of it. I advocate for finding a better solution. Something that doesn't require chopping off parts, something that doesn't require substantially just completely trying to change the person overall, something that doesn't require the person to become so unbelievably fragile that a random stranger not agreeing with their existence is enough to take the person off for a spiral. Because there's fucked up people out there that are gonna want you dead. And if all they have to do is say, no, I don't believe that you deserve to exist, and that's enough? No. No, dude, no. We're human beings. We're better than that. We're better than that. We can do so much better than that. So yeah, that's the crux of my thing. It's not the trans people themselves that I have an issue with. I have an issue with the medical establishment that, in my opinion, has tricked a bunch of people into becoming lifelong customers. So yeah. Oh boy. And yeah, and Chaos over here is now trying to bring the fucking, is no longer even talking to me, is going on to the optics-based arguments once again. It doesn't work. I am not going to throw away the worldviews that I've been building over the past 30 years to submit because you said that something looks bad. I've done my due diligence. My job is to do due diligence. My day-to-day job is to do due diligence. I know what I'm talking about in many of these things. Now, Dunkel here could come in and debunk everything, because that's what he does best. He does